We are out here at the range today to do a simple powder test. I'm going to show you what I'm doing. Now, I don't have anything fancy. I just have 3 sets of 10 rounds for 3 separate powder charges, and then I loaded up 3 rounds at a slightly hotter velocity just to see what happens. We're going to be shooting 5 shots round robin. So we're going to shoot 5 at the lowest, 5 medium, 5 high, then we're going to go back to 5, 5, and 5. And then on the end, I'm just going to throw in this slightly hotter load and see what happens. Now, this is a really clean barrel, and I have 4 blow-off rounds, or foulers, whatever you want to call them. And so I am going to take a couple shots here, get everything settled in, and
this video brought to you by ShootingBot. I use ShootingBot because I like to set up in-stock alerts for primers, powder, and other items. I can go in and search for something like 180 hybrids. It'll show me who has it, and if they don't, how long they've been out of stock and what the last pricing was. And I can create a notification list so that if anything comes in that's on my list, I instantly get a text. For me, this is the best way to get any components that I'm looking for. So if you're out there looking for primers, powder, brass, bullets, and ammo, give ShootingBot a try.
And here we are out at the range. I have 3 sets of 10 rounds at 3 different powder charges that I'm going to shoot in a round robin fashion in groups of 5. So I'm going to shoot 5 low, 5 medium, 5 high, then back to 3 low, 3 medium, or 5 low, 5 medium, 5 high. And then I have 3 other rounds that are just slightly higher because I had 3 pieces of brass left in the batch, so I figured why not. I've got 4 foulers to shoot real quick, just to get the gun fouled out, because this is, as with everything I do, cleaned every time I shoot it. So I want to throw a couple foulers down range. So let's see. And predominantly we have a right to left mirage. There's not a lot of wind out there, but there is a fair amount of mirage rolling right to left. I don't think we're going to see a huge impact difference from point of aim, but we'll see here. A little bit lower than I want it to be, but again, it's fouling out. So after 2, if it's still in the same spot, I'm going to go ahead and come up to it. So that is sitting about 3/4 of a minute off of where we want to be. So let's go ahead and do another fouler here. And I've got just a very small 3/4 inch dot out there that I'm aiming at. And we'll take another click just for fun. It doesn't really matter. But let's go ahead and roll one more here. And then we'll be ready for the test. There we go. Now, I am picking the smallest aiming point I can right now, which again is a little 3/4 inch, like those garage sale dots that you can buy at Office Depot or whatever. And so even when it's bouncing around a little bit, I probably am realistically holding it like a 1-inch aiming spot. And I prefer that over trying to hold some ambiguous number or spot in the middle of the X-ring or something, because it just gives me the best hold point. So I'm going to go ahead and clear this target. And now we're going to shoot 5 rounds. And this is my lowest charge. And really when I'm doing this, I really don't want to even look at the target. In fact, a lot of times I'll just push the tablet down. So there are the 5 low. Now we're going to shoot 5 medium. Same exact point of aim here. And now we are going to shoot the 5 higher charge. So there are those rounds. I'm going to go ahead and take a quick break and let it cool down for a minute. We're going to repeat the test. It's been maybe 15 minutes or so. I've had the fan on here just to cool it down, just so it's like a second string. And this time we're going to go in the opposite order. And I will be including these 3 rounds, so it's going to make pulling the data out a little bit harder for me. But overall, it'll be worth it just to see what these slightly hotter rounds do. The wind has picked up just a little bit, and we're still on a pretty decent right to left. So let's go ahead and see what this does. Oops. Yeah. Okay. Been testing out a new front bag system, so it's been settling in, so it's slightly loosening up, which is why I'm gonna keep checking this. I just realized I forgot to start There we go. I realized I forgot to start the tablet. It's getting a little soupy out there, so it gets harder to hold that little 3/4 inch dot. But again, that's why I like shooting at a little dot. Minimizes at least some of that movement. Oof. Really soupy out there. All right, well, I don't get this saved up. Oops. We'll get this saved up, and let's go back and we will take a look at the shop. Here's the first set of rounds that I shot, and so this was load 1, load 2, load 3. You can see that overall velocity, you know, pretty much goes up 20 feet per second. So this one, then this one, then this one, and the corresponding groups move in the same pattern, meaning there's really not a lot of overlap. And this is something that, you know, I don't know, traditionally I would say I'm not anywhere near the right powder charge simply because there isn't sort of any stability between where these velocities are. But now let's look at the second set, and on paper it's still the same. Load 1, load 2, load 3, and then load 4, which was that kind of bonus one I had. But because I started in reverse, you'll see the numbers actually go from low to high. So this was the hottest load, and then it went down and down and down and down. And you can see this one was actually considerably higher on average, 2491 compared to 2465 and then 52 and 43. So after the gun was hot, they still had about an equal 10 foot per second overlap or jump between velocities. And that's something that I've seen, you know, it's not uncommon. So the first round, it was 25 something rounds, and we were after Fowlers and stuff like that. And then we had, or 15, 18, 19, about 20. And so the gun wasn't fouled in, it wasn't as warm in general. Even though it was cool, obviously the barrel was still warmer, and we still see that it's a 10 foot per second increase between charges. So it still shows some instability, and then a huge instability with this shots 1, 2, and 3 right here. So, you know, I kind of look at that, and, you know, it's not fantastic for me, but I went ahead and loaded up between charge 1 and charge 2 just to see what it would do at 600 yards later. I think this was like a day later. I went and shot it on my 600 yard night. So here's what, you know, if you were looking at this and you said, well, you know, I'm seeing a lot of overlap, let's go ahead and load it. I loaded in between this load, and this is what it looks like. This is what it looked like at 600 yards, and I was using largely a center point of aim for this, and it was a little bit windy. I got blown out here. In fact, I think the whole night, out of 30-something shooters, there was only one clean. So, I mean, there was definitely some wind out there. But, you know, the vertical is okay. You know, it's shooting a half minute. But overall, it was kind of a dirty group, and it's sort of what I expected. It was okay. It was shootable. It's not something that I would take to any kind of a decent match. And I think that's the important thing in terms of, you have to kind of know what your expectations are, what are your needs, and then what are the results. I knew that based on my testing, it wasn't going to be great. I wanted to follow through with it and show you what it would look like at 600 yards, shooting an actual, group with it at 600 on a proper target, all that kind of stuff. And you can see what it did. I know there's people out there that are going to argue and say, well, it's not that bad, and you still shot 13 X's. I did, but this is not a competitive load for me, and I think that's the important takeaway. I know what I need. I know this needs to get better, and I know that I am not in the powder charge that I want to be in order to do that. There's other people who might look at this and say, look, this is light years ahead of what I'm shooting. If that test helps me get to a point where I can shoot a half-minute group on average, then I'd be really happy. And I think that's why videos like this are important, so that you can see what's possible and then use it to either improve or to know when you need to change something so that you can improve. And I don't know, I like doing these videos. I hope that they help everybody. And with that, as always, get out and shoot. Have a good one. We will talk later.